Hello and welcome to the Business Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Holly Worton. I've been an entrepreneur since 1999, and I know firsthand how difficult it can be to build a business without the right mindset. This is a podcast for those of us who struggle with showing up in our business with confidence and authenticity, who resist taking big action because of fears and doubts, who know deep down that it's possible to create something bigger, and yet you're not. This podcast combines powerful strategies on how to upgrade your business mindset along with practical business tips to grow your business more easily in a way that feels aligned. This podcast features solo shows with me and also interviews with inspiring women entrepreneurs from around the world, including my monthly co-hosted episodes with Joe Casey. My goal is to help you grow your business more quickly and easily by transforming your mindset. For me, mindset work is a lifelong practice, and I want to help you make a habit out of mindset work. Thank you so much for joining us today. Now, let's get into this week's episode. Hello and welcome to the Business Mindset Podcast, episode 272. This is your host, Holly Worton, and I'm back with another solo episode. Today, I'm going to talk about why mindset is not about positive thinking. I think this is perhaps a concept or an idea that people may have. You've got to think positive, you've got to have a positive mindset. And that's not what I'm talking about when I talk about business mindset or any of the work that I do. So I thought it would be useful to do a complete episode on this and why I think this is so important, why having the right mindset is not about positive thinking, what to do instead of trying to think positive all the time, why trying to stay positive may be hurting you, and why you sometimes need to dig deep to find the diamond amongst all the mind crap. But before we get into today's episode, I wanted to mention a podcast that I was recently a guest on, and that is the Mark Struczewski podcast. This was such a fun conversation. It's been a long time since I've done a podcast episode with someone completely new, completely outside my usual orbits. We talked about the workation weekend. We talked about why it's so important to have your partner on board with your business and your business plans and your business goals and strategies and activities. And we had lots of fun. It was a great conversation. I think you'll find it really interesting and useful, even if you've already heard me talk about the workation weekend. So if you head over to hollyworton.com/MS for Mark Struczewski, that will redirect you to his website and you can listen to the episode there. I really like this episode, so I highly recommend that you check it out. Next, what am I reading? I haven't told you this in a while, and I think that's because I've been kind of bouncing around between different books, which is something that I hate doing. I'm the kind of person who likes to start a book, read a book, finish a book, and then move on to the next book. But I've been kind of struggling. So I know a few weeks ago I'd bought a book I'd read a few years back, The Dip by Seth Godin. Started reading that and put it aside. I was reading some fiction for a while. I'm kind of still doing that, not so much. I've got a book called The Natural Navigator, which is about natural methods of navigating outdoors. It's super fascinating. I love it. I'm not really making much progress with it. I don't know why. I tried to start another book on druidry the other day, wasn't getting into that. I think my brain just needs a rest. So I don't know whether this ever happens to you at all, but I think I just need a rest. I love reading. I love having some quiet time with a book, but sometimes I feel like my brain just needs to not do anything, and that can be really challenging for me. A lot of times when I try to take that reading break, if I can't concentrate, I'll turn to something like a game, like Words with Friends has been my addiction lately, which is like a Scrabble app for your phone. Used to be before that, years before that, Spider Solitaire, or I'll go on Reddit and read stuff. And I always feel really guilty about this. But I remember years ago, my coach, Lisa Wechtenheiser, saying to me, whenever I find myself playing Candy Crush or whatever the game was that she was playing, I know that it's because stuff is processing. My brain needs a break. It needs to do some mindless stuff because stuff is processing. Like energy stuff is processing in the background. I'm getting downloads. I'm getting shifts. Stuff's going on. And so I need to distract my brain. Now, this is a concept that I'm totally familiar with because it's something that my spiritual teacher used to do, and I'm sure he still does, all the time with people. Like he would tell a joke or he would get people distracted with a story so that they would relax and be able to receive the energy work that he was kind of sending them. So it was like he would distract you with one thing that would keep you kind of laughing or relaxed, like the game, and then kind of slip the energy work in through the side. I know this stuff, but yet I still feel a little bit guilty every time I do this stuff. I feel like I should be productive all the time. And if you listened to last week's episode with Joanna Hannon, you know this is a problem for me. I really feel like I have to be productive all the time. So it's no surprise that I ended up on Mark Struczewski's productivity podcast talking about my productivity tip because productivity is such an important thing to me. However, it's also important for us to give ourselves permission, and I'm saying this to you as a reminder to myself, it's important that we give ourselves permission to have downtime, to have days where we're not super productive. Because that's okay, because it's natural for us to have really good focus some days, not so good focus other days. I've just come back from 3 days in Avebury, and this whole morning and afternoon has been super high focus, getting lots of stuff done. I've been doing really, really well, and I'm super happy with that. I put together the notes for this episode, and I'm feeling good. But that moment that I pick up the game, or the moment that I click to Reddit, it's my natural tendency to feel a little guilty about it, even though I know my brain needs a rest. Another really weird thing that I feel I need to tell you before I move into the actual content of this episode is that for the last few solo episodes that I've done, I have had these weird, jaw-breaking yawns, I call them. They're the kind of deep yawns that I get when I'm doing energy work, either with myself or if I'm working with another professional and I've got a session with them and they're helping me shift stuff. My kind of way of releasing energy is getting these really big, wide yawns. And I've been doing those when I do my solo podcast episodes. I keep having to pause this so I can yawn. It's so weird, and it's making me start to wonder if there's something about these episodes that has some kind of healing or releasing effect. Certainly it's doing something to me, so I don't know if it's doing something for you, but if you find yourself yawning a lot while listening to this episode, and not because you're bored, but because it's kind of one of those weird, gigantic, jaw-breaking, releasing yawns, let me know. I would love to know about that. I would love to know if you're getting the yawns as you listen to this, or if it's just me releasing stuff as I record this episode. Please excuse me for a second while I pause this and yawn again. Also, I wanted to say, and I know this is the longest introduction ever, but I feel like I need to update you on stuff. I was just, as I said, in Avebury for the last 3 days. And surprise, surprise, the buyer has fallen through on the house. There's a second person that's kind of lined up, but they're not a sure thing either, so obviously I'm thinking about the house again. I will let you know if anything changes in that respect, but it's probably not going to for now because the timing doesn't seem to be right. However, I won't jinx myself by continuing down that path, and I'll let you know if there are any exciting updates. Because it is something that when I'm there, it feels so right, even though it's so easy for me to say, from the comfort of my current home, that it's not perfect. It's not perfect, but nothing's perfect, and I love it. So I felt the need to share that with you, even though I feel like I'm going back and forth on this, and you probably think I sound really wishy-washy. So one last thing before I move into the episode, and that is that I would love for you to join me on Patreon. If you head over to patreon.com/Holly Worton, that's patreon.com/Holly Worton, you can join me there. Membership starts at just $1 a month, and you'll get exclusive content, access to content that I don't share anywhere else, including a monthly Q&A and my afterthoughts for this podcast when I have them. What is that? I often think of extra things to add after I finish an episode, so I am creating extra mini episodes where I share those bits and pieces. What I'm doing with the Patreon is creating a membership community of done-for-you energy work. So depending on what tier you join at, I've got done-for-you Psyche work, I've got done-for-you heart-centered energy work, so you don't even need to show up to get the benefits. I'm doing the stuff for you in the background. Again, depending on what tier you join at. So I've got price points ranging from $1 a month all the way up to $1,111 a month. And obviously that includes a lot of one-to-one mindset work. But I've got price points for everyone. And I said this before for the next month, but it's actually going to be for the next couple of months or until I get 10 patrons on here. I'm giving the first 10 people who join me on Patreon at whatever price level, all of the tiers up to the $55 a month tier. And so that's going to include heart-centered energy work, Psych K, you get all kinds of stuff for that. So head on over to Patreon. Again, that's patreon.com/Holly Worton. And you can join me there. Again, the first 10 people, and I'm going to keep doing this until I get 10 people in there and on my Patreon. You will get, or what level you join at, you will get all the stuff up to and including the $55 a month level. So that may continue this month. I may continue another month. You'll get at least a month, probably more, of extra goodies. So I would love to see you over there. My whole reason for doing this is so that I can help people at whatever price point they can afford. And I'm super pleased with this solution because I've been feeling like I needed to add something with a wide kind of range of different price points. So again, patreon.com/Holly Worton. That's all I'm going to say about it right now. Moving into this episode, which now has the longest ever introduction. It's like halfway through the episode now. I actually love it when other people do this on their podcasts, so maybe that's why I've felt the need to do that myself today. So, mindset. Why it isn't about positive thinking. I think that when we try to be positive about something, and I do think there's an important distinction between being like fakely positive and fake it till you make it kind of positive, is very, very different from focusing on what you do want rather than what you don't want. So my work is all based on focusing on what you do want, focusing on your goals, focusing on your vision, focusing on the things that you do want in your business and life. However, there's a big difference between that and thinking positive. So thinking positive to me is like tricking yourself or trying to convince yourself that everything is okay. Everything is good. Everything's great. I've got all the clients I want, even though you don't. My business is going really, really well, even though it's not. I'm so happy with my business, even though maybe you were so frustrated you were thinking about quitting this morning. You know what I mean? I don't think that kind of forced positive thinking, that fake it till you make it, that let's pretend everything's great, even though it's not. I don't think that stuff is good. I don't think it's useful to you. I don't think it's serving you in any way. And I certainly don't think that forcing yourself to pretend everything's going well is going to affect your subconscious mindset in a positive way. So I don't think, let me clarify this, I don't think that thinking everything's going really well, I'm happy with my business, it's going just beautifully, I'm making so much money, I have so much clients, thinking that is not going to affect your subconscious mindset. And I always talk about the importance of subconscious mindset and working at the subconscious level and working with your energy system to release the blocks that you may have and reprogram your beliefs at the subconscious level so that you can believe what you need to believe in order to have the business and life that you want. So I think that thinking positive is damaging because it's like this mask that you're wearing, but you're not just wearing it for other people, you're also wearing it for yourself. It's like this way of hiding behind this positive mask. That's not serving us because I think that sometimes, and I know that sometimes because this is how I work both with myself and with clients, we need to be aware of the limiting beliefs that are keeping us stuck. We need to be aware of the fears. We need to be aware of the blocks so that we can transform those things. So when you're trying to think positive all the time, when you're trying to stay positive, I do believe that's hurting you because it's not allowing you to dig deep and look at your mind crap. You know as well as I do that if you try to sweep all that stuff under the rug, it's not going to magically go away. It's just going to be hidden. And the more hidden you keep it, the harder it's going to be to uncover that stuff again so that you can transform it. And the purpose of the mindset work that I do with myself, with my clients, the purpose of the way I teach mindset work is digging up the crap to release the stuff that doesn't serve you, transform those fears, transform those blocks, transform those limiting beliefs, and also reprogram the stuff that you need to believe in order to make what you want happen. So, like I said, sometimes you need to dig deep to find the diamond among the mind crap. And the diamond is that, and this is a saying I got from one of my Psych K instructors, Duccio, who does the health and well-being training. And that was a concept that I really, really love. So he teaches you to just kind of keep asking the questions, digging, to get deep to the root block, the root fear, the root cause of the mind crap that's keeping you stuck. So you need to be willing to do the deep work. And this is possible to do on your own. It absolutely is possible. You can, through journaling, or probably other ways, the way I would do it is through journaling, get clear on your mind crap. However, I find it hard to work really deeply with myself in this way, and I find that doing this really deep work is so much easier when I'm working with another professional. So when I've signed up for a session with someone else, they will ask me the difficult questions. They will help me dig deep. And there are some people that I've worked with so many times over the last few years that they're good at calling me out on stuff. They're good at knowing which questions to ask. They're good at holding up the mirror so I can see the crap that I don't want to see. And they're good at doing it gently so that I can see the stuff more quickly than I might be if they were really in your face about it. However, I do have some friends that can be friends and also therapists, healers, who can be very much in my face about stuff. And I do welcome that because sometimes I need people to just say things very, very directly for me to get them. So if you find that you can't get deep enough to dig through your crap, to get clear on the diamond, on your own, work with someone else. And I say this all the time. I think it's really important to do the mindset work with ourselves, but also from time to time, whenever you need to, hire someone else to work through the crap. I think it's the most powerful way of working through this stuff. Now, there's a fine line here because, I'm not fond of traditional talk therapies where you just go and talk about the crap and you dig up the crap. I'm aware that I don't want you to kind of swing to the other side of the pendulum here. So it's not about thinking positive all the time and talking positive, but it's also not about digging up the crap all the time. The only purpose of digging up the crap is so that you can do the work to transform it. So there's no need to dwell on it. There's no need to dwell on your past traumas, your past disappointments, your past fears. The only purpose of doing that is within a session when you know you're going to transform the stuff. And I would say, don't sit down to dig up crap unless you also have the time to transform it. Because, again, we don't want to train ourselves to dwell on this stuff. We want to just dig it up, transform it, and move on. And if you're working at the subconscious level, this stuff is really, really fast. So, heart-centered energy work, Psych K, whatever it is that you use, if you're working at the subconscious level, oftentimes these techniques in 5 minutes or so will transform a past trauma, a past fear, or transform a belief or a block that you have. These are very fast acting things. So it's not like you have to schedule an hour with yourself to sit down, dig up the crap, and then work on it. You could do it in a half hour. You could pick one thing and do 15 minutes. It's not something that requires a lot of time. But I do think it is important if you're going to dig up the stuff to make the time to transform it in that same session, whether you're with yourself or whether you're with someone else. Because once we've brought that stuff up to the surface, you don't want it hanging around. You want to just bring it up and clear it. I think that's a really important distinction to make. And I think that's why I'm so not fond of certain talk therapies that just bring the crap up and then don't do anything with it. Because I don't, and I know some people aren't going to agree with this, and that's fantastic. But for me personally, I have not found value in talking about the crap and bringing up the crap and reliving it. To me, the power of accessing those memories, those experiences, is simply to clear them. And that's the way I work. That's what works for me. If something else different works for you, fantastic. There's no one solution for everyone. I always say that. So what to do with this? Well, I think first of all, if you hear yourself and pay attention to what you say, pay attention to the words that you hear coming out of your mouth And pay attention to the words that you hear running around in your head. So if you hear yourself saying or thinking or pretending that everything's going well when deep down you don't feel like it is, write that down, like make a note of it. Pay attention to the ways that you're forcing yourself to think positive or play positive or pretend that everything is going well when deep down you know it's not. Write that stuff down and then write down how you want to feel and program those beliefs, because actually programming those positive or enhancing belief statements into your subconscious will help you get the beliefs you need to take the actions you need to take to build the business and lifestyle that you want. So write that stuff down and do the work on it. In the same way, write down the stuff that's triggered when you hear yourself saying that positive stuff that you know isn't true or that you feel isn't true. Like, what fears do you have? What are you afraid of? What's going on for you there? Bring that stuff up to the surface and then flip it around and think, how would I rather feel instead? What would I rather be experiencing? What do I need to feel about myself and my abilities in order to do the things I need to do to make my dreams come true and achieve my goals? So I often, when I do these episodes, will run through the 15 categories of beliefs and categories of blocks, because I think those are really useful to kind of jog people's memories of fears or blocks they might have, or jog their inspiration for things that they might want or need to believe. I don't want to be too repetitive with that, so I'm just going to run through the categories here and see if they trigger anything for you. So have you been pretending to be positive, or have you been acting positive even when you're not really feeling it in any of these categories? Action and goals. Like, have you been pretending you're an action taker when really you're not? Change that belief. Change and growth. Have you been pretending that you're really into personal growth and development when really change scares the crap out of you? Do something about that. Clients. Have you been pretending that you've got a full calendar of clients even though you can't remember the last time someone clicked and bought something from you on your website? Change your beliefs around that. Confidence and self-trust. Have you been trying to fake it till you make it and act like you're confident even though you're totally not? Change your beliefs around that. Changing your beliefs around confidence and self-trust can really, really, really help you develop a deep, deep confidence in yourself. Creativity. Have you been pretending like you're a creative entrepreneur when really you feel like you have no new ideas that anyone gives a shit about? Change your beliefs around that. Leadership and outsourcing. Have you been modeling your favorite online entrepreneurs, pretending to be a leader yourself when really deep down you feel like you're just following everyone else? What would you rather have instead? Change your beliefs around that. Learning. Do you see other people talking online about how much they love learning and how much they love being an entrepreneur because it encourages them or gives them the opportunity to learn so much about business and marketing and other things, and really you couldn't give a shit? Or maybe you feel like you're just not good at learning stuff. What would you rather have instead? Change your beliefs around that. Lifestyle. Have you been pretending you have the lifestyle of your dreams? Have you been trying to keep up with the Joneses? Have you been pretending that everything is all hunky-dory with your lifestyle when really you're not happy with it? Get clear on what you want. Get clear on what you need to believe about yourself in order to have that lifestyle that you want. Change your beliefs and then take action. All of this, I know I'm talking about changing beliefs, but always goes hand in hand with action taking. Marketing and sales. Do you see people talking about how much they love marketing and sales online and how they love the hustle of business? And really you just want to vomit? Well, stop pretending. Take a look at your beliefs around marketing and sales. Change those beliefs and then take action. Money. We all love talking about money in the online business world. We all love making it look like we've got our money shit solved, when really that's such a big, deep topic. I think very few people, if any, actually have their money shit solved. So look at all those people who are living like lavish lifestyles, spending money on holidays, stuff for the kids, expensive schools, I don't know what else, whatever stuff you see that might trigger you. Use that as an opportunity to look at your own money stuff, change those beliefs, and then take the actions you need to take to bring more money into your business and life. Personal power. Have you been pretending that you're like this powerful online entrepreneur, but really you feel like no one cares? Like you're just this little business person doing your thing? Really tap into what you would rather have instead, how you want to feel, how you want to act, how you want to believe. Change those beliefs and take the action. Strategy, clarity, and vision. Do you feel like everyone else knows exactly what they want for their business and life, but you have no clue? Like you kind of have an idea, but not really. Changing your beliefs around your ability to create a clear vision and a clear strategy to get there and achieve that vision can actually help you take the actions you need to take to develop that clear vision and the strategy to achieve it. So change your beliefs and take the action. Success and opportunities. Do you hear people talking about being super successful and feeling like you've got to pretend to be super successful yourself, like you've got to put on that successful entrepreneur mask when you do your online stuff, and really you feel like shit on the inside? Stop playing the game and think about how you want to feel. Think about what you need to believe about yourself so that you can feel successful. And success means so many things. It's not just the money you make. It's not just the size of your business. It's not just how many likes or hearts or stuff you've got on your online postings. Figure out what success means to you and make it happen. Make it happen through changing your beliefs and through taking the actions. Value and self-worth. Do you feel like everyone else values their work? They've got those high online prices and you're terrified of quoting your own prices? Do the work. Figure out what you need to believe in order to truly value yourself and value your expertise and your knowledge and the stuff that you bring to this world. Change those beliefs and take the action. Finally, visibility. So many online entrepreneurs are super visible. And maybe you've been playing small, maybe you feel like you've been playing small, or maybe you feel like you've been taking steps but still not seeing the results. Maybe you're afraid to get more visible. Or maybe you've been faking it. Maybe you've been pretending to be like super visible online entrepreneur woman and it just doesn't feel right. There's something weird about your energy. It's repelling people because you're not being authentic. Maybe. I don't know. I've done it before. So look at what you've been doing in terms of visibility. Is it aligned? Does it feel great? What do you want in terms of visibility? What do you need to believe about yourself in order to step up and be more visible and step up as the expert that you are? Get clear on those beliefs, change them, and take the action. So you've probably noticed a theme as I move through all of those topics. It's about changing the beliefs. It's about releasing the blocks, releasing the fears, transforming your beliefs, and then taking the action you need to take to move towards your goals. Always, this goes hand in hand. Mindset work, action, mindset work, action, mindset work, action. I say this all the time and I keep saying it all the time because it's so important. It's not just the mindset work, it's also the action. However, the good news is that it's easier to take action. It's easier to take bigger actions. It's easier to take actions outside of our comfort zone when we've done the mindset work. But it's a constant thing. It's like that spiral staircase I always talk about. You take one step with the mindset work and you take one step with the practical action work. So I hope this has helped you see why mindset work is not about thinking positive and why sometimes we need to dig through the crap and we need to look at the crap, but not just looking at crap for crap's sake, but so that we can release it, so that we can transform it, so that we can make a difference with our mindset, so that we can change our beliefs, we can change our attitudes, we can change our perspectives, and make it easier to take the actions we need to take so that we can achieve our goals for our business and life. So that's all for today. I hope you found this episode interesting and useful. Please drop me a line and let me know what you thought about it. Also, let me know what you thought about the mega introduction that I did to this episode that was not really planned. It was kind of spontaneous, but I really liked it. So I would like to do more of those, but not if you hated it. So let me know what you thought. You can email me at holly@hollyworton.com or find me online and get in touch. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed the episode, please leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts or iTunes. It would mean the world to me. And again, I would love for you to join me on Patreon. Remember that the first 10 people to join get extra stuff. So head over to patreon.com/Holly Worton and join me there. Finally, remember to visit hollyworton.com/272 for the show notes on this episode. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening to the Business Mindset Podcast. You can find more information about today's episode, including links for the topics that were discussed, at hollyworton.com. If you'd like to connect with other listeners and learn more about business mindset, join my private community for entrepreneurs at hollyworton.com/group. That will redirect you to the Facebook group. And if you enjoyed this episode, please remember to head over to iTunes and leave a quick review of this podcast. It just takes a minute. Thank you so much.